So today we're going to show you how to set up wildlife monitoring in Outway. Wildlife monitoring can get super complicated. You have a ton of things that you want to keep track of, all of the things out in the field that are related to the wildlife, and then you got to think about how are you actually going to get all this information. There are tons of different ways for field observations through field equipment. When creating any type of location, we have to first go through some very simple things that apply to any location type. The name, the geometry, if it's a point, a line, or an area, the category you want to put it in, and then who can see it and who can create it or who can make it. Lastly, you get to pick an icon. That's always the fun part.
Now we need to think of everything else that we need to record with a predator type. First off, we definitely want to record the species. And not only that, but we probably want to record the same species across things like tracks and scat and this observation, as well as maybe multiple other things. So we're going to make this a library. Same as before with the location type, we need to choose the library's name and its visibility and create permissions. We'll come back to the species library in a little bit to fill it out, but for the observation, let's keep moving. Next, we need to know how many we saw in this observation, so we're going to add a count as a number to keep track of how many of whatever species we saw. Next, we're going to add the age as a multi-select in case there are multiple within a group. We got to think about what different types we're looking at here. And for fun, we're going to change the color to kind of match what those look like, and reorder them to be an age. Alright, so moving on, we are going to add another multi-select for behavior. And this could be anything that we're seeing them do out in the field. So we're going to add hunting, maybe we'll add things around mating or other categories, sleeping and denning. Add whatever feels good, add whatever you think is important. You can change and edit all of these as you go, and you can also come back and change them later. So for us, we're just going to put in some initial data and then maybe play around with how they look, and I feel like that's a pretty good start. Next, we're going to add health, and we're going to just do a normal select for this one because we're really looking out for if there's any big indicators we need to be aware of that maybe we need to alert endangered species people. So whether they're sick, injured, healthy, or deceased, maybe malnourished. If there are any other types of things you can add, you can always come back and add these. Again, this is just a good starting point of a way to think about how could you set up wildlife tracking here.
Next, we're going to edit the species library. When editing the library, this is where we're going to reference the same species across multiple location types. We'll reference it in our observations, maybe hunting sightings, or paw prints, or scat, or other things. So we'll keep track of some of the things that are common. This is going to be the hub for, say, everything wolves, or everything bears, or red foxes. We'll keep track of the scientific name, their activity pattern, maybe their size ranges or color definitions. Here is where we're going to have a record to keep track of all of those. And then when we come in and click on these individual libraries like wolf, it'll show every place that that wolf has been referenced across all of the location types. And there you have it. You're all set. You're ready to start wildlife tracking. You can even go and now create other types where you want to keep track of the same species. So you could write and make a type for tracks, wildlife cameras, or scat. Start putting those locations out in the field and generating reports based on the wildlife in your area.